All right, back here with Melvin once again, and so ask the same question that you just asked. This is really important question that he just asked.
I said, how is it that people who are unable to touch their toes, through working with the roller, with the fascia, after a couple of sessions, they're able to do it without even stretching per se. And how did this come into existence now, where when I was younger, say 30 years ago, they weren't using a roller, not to my knowledge. It was all stretching and, doing things like that. Now with this roller, people are opening up parts of their body that they weren't able to open before without doing all the stretching. So that was the question.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Melvin, so what happens is, right now, only the last 10 years or so, we've been discovering fascia, right? And myofascia, which is the muscular fascia. So myo means muscle, and then fascia is the connective tissues, right, in our body that are wrapping everywhere and enveloping everything in our body, from head to toe, right below the skin, between the skin and the muscles, between the muscles and the bones, around the tendons and organs. Everywhere in our body is this like kind of gel matrix soft tissue that's sort of like a spider web, right? So if you have like a restriction in your shoulder, right, it could be pulling, and so what you do is you can actually release your foot, and all of a sudden the shoulder releases. Why? Because it's all connected.
Right.
So it's not like muscles, which are very specific to specific parts of the body, like the bicep, right, is right here, and the bicep's this is the action of the bicep, flexion and extension. Right. With the fascia, it's multidimensional, it's throughout our entire body, and it's not so simple, right? And so doctors are still becoming aware of this because the evidence, the research, right? And so more and more doctors are getting into it now, but it's still slow.
Right.
It's slow and up and coming, and so a lot of people are coming out with these programs, like you're saying, where they're rolling out their body with different types of tools, and what that does is it helps to open up the fascia.
Right.
And when you open up the fascial system, you're going to be stretching way farther, and you're actually going to be enhancing your mobility more than just regular stretching alone.
But why is that? Because the fascia is connected to the muscles and it's being released. The tension is being released in the fascia.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what happens is, so the fascia is the muscles are swimming in the fascia. So if you release the muscle and you try to stretch it without stretching the fascial system, what happens is it's not able to glide, right? So just think of it as like layers, right? And so the muscles are basically like bundles of fascia. It's very similar material, right? And so what happens is when you take, the layers like that, and you're actually working with them in a different way, where you're not just focusing just solely on the muscles, you're going to be able to create much different change within the body. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so also what happens is, we were talking a minute ago about how if we roll out our plantar fascia, which is on our foot, right, you can roll out with a ball or a golf ball or a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball on your foot, on one foot. I was telling them about this. We did this in massage school years ago, actually. And if you roll out on one foot, what's going to happen is when you do a forward fold and you do a forward bend to try to touch your toes, your hands are actually going to be touching the floor on that same side. So if you roll out just your right foot and then you try to do that exercise, and you're going to actually be able to get your right hand to touch the floor and get closer to the floor than if you just, didn't roll your foot out, right? So it shows you that the fascia is this matrix and this gel, and it's connective tissue that's everywhere from head to toe. And there's different meridian lines as well with that as well. So they've discovered that. However, it's really multidimensional. So you want to just try different things and see what works and what doesn't. And it's kind of hard to figure out where the fascial restrictions lie, because fascia does not show up on MRIs, on X-rays, CAT scans, or any kind of devices like that. So it's really just more about soft tissue mobility and feeling it with your hands and feeling into the body and feeling, okay, what feels like a fascial restriction? It's very different than muscle. Muscle's deeper, right? Fascia's more superficial. However, we also have the deeper layers of fascia, which is a whole nother thing. So it's like all these different layers within the body. And yeah.
Gotcha. I appreciate the response.
You got it.
Appreciate the response.
You got it. Yeah, and I'm so happy that we're able to share this on YouTube with you guys so that you can get educated about fascia and about these concepts and stuff.
Right.
Thank you, Melvin, once again. And thanks so much, guys. Follow me and subscribe to me on YouTube here for more education about fascia, natural healing modalities such as osteopathic manual therapy and things like that. Thank you so much. This is Edan and Melvin and Marvin.
Yeah.